What's going on, everyone? It's your boy Shad Talks Graps, and we are back with another episode of the Sunday Spotlight, where we spotlight everything in the world of professional wrestling. It has been a crazy week of pro wrestling on all spots of pro wrestling, from WWE to the AEW to TNA to the Indies, and we're here to talk all about it. And we got a special guest for today, and I'm gonna get him last because salute to Clark and Drizzy. They are busy today, but we had a perfect person to fill in that y'all gonna love for this episode today because he's got a lot of knowledge on the topic that he's choosing to spotlight. But first and foremost, we gotta kick it off out to the city that never sleeps, the First Lady of Wrestling Republic, Megan. How are you?
I am doing good. Yes, it's been last week was the first Sunday Night Spotlight that I've been on in a while. This is my second one. Of course, we miss Clark and Drizzy, but we managed to maintain, while they are away taking care of business. And really glad that we have one of our colleagues from Wrestling Republic here tonight because like Shad said, he's very knowledgeable. He knows his shit, honestly. And most of the time he's on my side. So, I need a little tag team partner. Yeah, you meant that. You meant that. That's okay. That's okay.
I gotta touch. I have a touch screen laptop.
He did that on purpose, but okay, go ahead. Introduce our guest.
Look, as soon as you said he's on your side, I felt like
my back. And that's why you did it on purpose.
Nah, I swear, it's the touch. Anyways, I apologize for that. That was not nice of me. But we got to go to the next co-host of the show, man. Host of the show separately on Wrestling Republic. Used to be part of the Throwback Thursday crew with myself from Philadelphia, fellow Eagles fan at that. Mm-hmm. Rocking the Phillies hat. I know it is opening day today. How you doing, bro? Anthony?
Doing all right. But yeah, it's awesome to be here, Megan. It's very easy to agree with you when you're right, which is often. So it makes it very easy with the arguments. Gets me in hot water at times, but it's fine. But yeah, it's awesome to be here. I wasn't expecting to be here, but I'm happy to be here.
For sure. And I think we might have ourselves a new Saturday SmackDown crew if, the schedule and the lines. Mm-hmm. Like I said, I am part of the transfer portal. But this is Sunday. This is Spotlight. And we got to talk about SmackDown because the first topic at hand is a woman who is one of the most talented professional wrestlers in the industry. Someone who is in one of the best storylines in professional wrestling at this moment. And someone that had a incredible episode, like just promo and beatdown and all that last week and yesterday on SmackDown. And that is Naomi. And this is a topic that I know, Megan, you wanted to spotlight and kind of break down a little bit. So the floor is yours. Let's talk Naomi.
Yes. So for those who may have missed me speaking on it on the daily yesterday, I kind of want to get down into not only the segment from SmackDown, but also just the whole build-up leading up to it. Now, as you can see, I did pay tribute to Miss Naomi and Jade because they both was wearing yellow and black yesterday. Or 2 nights ago on SmackDown, and it's definitely giving Kill Bill Beatrice Kiddo getting revenge, the Black Mamba. But first, let's just talk about this promo. The caution. She is setting a warning. She's letting people know that she is not the Naomi that she used to be. And she said something that stuck out to me when she said, you have to train or teach people how to treat you. You have to show them. Because sometimes people will not treat you the way you deserve to be treated. Sometimes you have to show them. And it seems as though she is Now, I'm thinking when she said that wasn't to Jade, because Jade never did anything to her for her to feel that she has to treat her in that sense. I do believe that was directed to Bianca. So, Bianca, if you're watching, you might want to watch your back during your match at WrestleMania, because I feel like Trinity does have something that she has in store, because she feel like, you're not treating her right. You're not a good friend. But leading back to the beginning, I saw a video. It was the week before Jade got injured, and there was a look that Naomi gave, and it was so subtle. It was so quick that you missed it. And we all missed it, because when Jade got injured, we went through the whole line of people. And even though Naomi's name was there, I can admit I was definitely one of the first people that said, look, I cannot believe that it was Naomi. I can't. And I was willing to die on that hill for it. Even to the end, when the tape came out, and we still don't know who filmed it and who sent it to Nick Aldis. We still don't know. But even then, I still thought Bianca had something to do with it. And I ain't gonna lie, she chewed my ass out for it. Okay, she got me together. Okay, she dragged me by my edges. I had to apologize. She accepted my apology, and we've been on good terms ever since. But that promo that Naomi cut on SmackDown, it made me feel for her, because I feel like at some point we all have been in a situation where we felt like a friend chose another person over them. We all been in a situation where we felt like we were the third wheel, despite everything that we have done for our friend. And like I said on the daily, Naomi is not coming from a place of animosity, not in my opinion. She's coming from a place of hurt. She is hurt. She is hurt by Bianca, by the choices that she made with choosing Jade over her. And the interesting part is Jade feels the same betrayal, because when she got hurt and she was injured, and it came up to the point where Bianca may had to relinquish those titles, Naomi came and she said, look, I will, for the sake of our sister who is out on injury, I will take her place as champion. And I guess Jade felt like maybe Bianca should have just went ahead and relinquished the titles. If that was the case, I'm on Bianca's side, because she did not know that Naomi did it. So when her friend came to her and offered to take this weight of having to relinquish the titles off her hands, she saw it as a friend being a friend. So Jade cannot get upset with Bianca for that. But, they haven't announced whether or not Naomi and Jade is going to be at WrestleMania. I'm hoping that at some point they do, because this story, honestly, is one of the bigger stories on SmackDown right now. To me, it has more weight. It has more emotions than the damn main event that is set up for WrestleMania Night 2 between John and Cody. So it makes no sense for this match not to be at WrestleMania. But if they decide to do it, which I hope they do, I can't put heads or tails on who would win. I feel like if Naomi wins, Jade is not going to let up. I feel like she is going to continue to get Naomi. But where does that leave Bianca? Because she's still very much in the middle of it. And will she leave WrestleMania with the title, knowing that these two still hold some type of animosity towards her or, resentment. I don't know. I really don't know if Bianca's going to leave WrestleMania with the title, despite who it is that she's facing. So, you know, all I can say is I'm on Naomi's side. I
Mm-hmm.
can't get any deeper than that. I'm on Naomi's side. What
So,
she said.
so this very well may be a case that the person that they didn't expect to come out being the biggest star in the storyline with a Bianca Belair, with a Jade Cargill, it could very well be Naomi. And it's one of those cases where she absolutely smashed it in regards to how she reacted to Bianca and finding out that she was the one that attacked Jade. The emotions, the saying, calling her a bitch, like all of that to it was so incredible. And then last night, that vignette, the line, take caution, right? Not being led up, done with all the BS and really showing that she is going to be a force. Naomi may have found a new breath of life in WWE with this heel character, not doing the glow and all of that. And then you talk about the potential of this. Let's say Bianca does win at Mania and wins that triple threat match or a singles match, whatever it may be. Money in the Bank season, Naomi winning the briefcase, caution tape and all, cashing in on a Bianca. Like something like that could very well be a really good story and this woman deserves it, man. Like I truthfully, I feel like she's one of the more unsung superstars and unsung hero. And that's the thing too. Like I think she's coming in with a point to prove because let's not forget she left the WWE on some BS, right? On the with her and Sasha, how they got handled, how they were treated, especially when they got let go on all of that from what Vince was doing. But coming back and proving them that I'm not just a tag team wrestler, right? Y'all not gonna just fill me in the dockets for tag team wrestling. I could be a single star, and this is kind of an opportunity for her to do that. So I'm interested, Anthony. I want to know obviously you're also a big TNA guy, and you saw the work that Trinity was doing in the Impact Zone. But what do you think about her as a heel character right now?
I have so many different thoughts with this because I was on the Saturday shows with Megan, and I was a firm belief that Bianca was the one behind the attack. And I think I even floated to Megan on that show with Clark, was it would not shock me if they were both behind it and Bianca's the mastermind. Like Jade's getting the red carpet treatment. Jade's being treated as the chosen one. I busted my ass. Why aren't I getting that? And Naomi, it's interesting because Bianca's showing signs that she's a heel. I feel like you're seeing it even in the feud she's got going on now. The way she's just shoving Io aside with the face. And like, it would not shock me if at Mania, Naomi comes out and everyone thinks, oh, she's here to screw Bianca. And she helps her. It would not shock me in that scenario. And Jade takes the position of she goes for the Money in the Bank to go take Bianca out. It would not shock me if that's the situation is where you're going to go with this, because I think it weirdly would fit.
Like they've been playing us the whole time.
I kind of get that. I
could actually see that happening.
Because here's the thing. You're telling me that Bianca gets told that Naomi took out your tag partner, your sister took her out. You didn't take a swing at her. You didn't even want to have a match with her. Nothing. You moved on. I won the Rumble. I'm worried about my world title. I'm only worried about me. I kind of get the feeling that I could see that being the swerve. If we're not doing that, if we're not doing that, the Naomi promo, the heel stuff, I feel like we're in the betrayal era, in that people are turning heel, but they're relatable. Whether
It's
it was
justified.
Drew with his problem with the bloodline, whether it was KO with Cody and Randy. Like you in a weird way, you can kind of understand it. Naomi, she has shown both on screen and off, she has loyalty to friends. Like you talked about it. Sasha Banks' problem, it was more Sasha walking and Naomi walking out of solidarity, as opposed to Naomi straight up going, I'm sick of this, I'm out. I think it was more out of loyalty to Sasha than it was to anything else. I think her run in TNA absolutely helped her, because at this point, you're not a bit player. In TNA, it's a much smaller roster. You're now the focus. She was the world champion there. I think that run really helped her get that confidence. Even though she held the women's title in WWE prior to that, but she's a different performer today than when she left. I don't think there's a question. She's a significantly better performer now.
Yeah.
But honestly, I still think, and this may be a naive, I still think Bianca was behind this thing, and Naomi's the fault person. Because like you said, we don't know who the mystery person who recorded this. And that mystery person is the one that tags with Jade over this feud. There's another party here, but we don't know who that is. Now,
and
it could be they don't reveal who it is, or it could be, oh, I don't know. Isn't there a certain someone that's a former women's champion that's leaving AEW? I mean, they could float that in there if they want to. They could throw in Jordan Grace if they want to, because she's got history with Trinity. There's a number of people they could throw in this thing.
Yeah. And, and I thought it was really interesting that you brought up this seems to be a time of betrayal, because there is another person in this situation who feels betrayed by Bianca. And I'm wondering if y'all can figure out who that is before I say it.
In the storyline? Betrayed by Bianca in the storyline.
Yes.
On the SmackDown side, or just in WWE as a whole?
Oh, I'm not telling you. You gotta take a guess. If you've been following the stories, you should know.
Mia Yim?
No.
I don't think it's Mia.
Okay. Rhea.
I was going to say
Rhea feels betrayed by Bianca. She brings up the fact that you came out here, you rooted for EO. We was on the damn game cover together. We made history, and yet you came out and you rooted for her. Bianca and Jade gets into it, which it was like a little tweet that Jade had responded to. It was a question, and she said, she ain't trust either her or Naomi. Bianca, her reaction was, girl, I ain't do nothing. You tripping out on me. And then there was the picture that said Bianca. That may have been a little overkill, because like whatever. So, but the same way that Jade had to remind Bianca, you're always in some mess. And then Rhea had to remind Bianca, well, clearly you're not a good friend, because look at the mess that you done made on SmackDown. The only person who has seemingly kept their distance from Bianca to this point was Naomi. And now Naomi has kind of made it clear, like, hey, girl, I made it possible for you to be where you was. When you first got here, I had your back. I was the one who held your hand along the way, and I did this for you because I see something in you, and I see that Jade was riding your coattail. And because I've done this and all the things I have done for you, you should have been forgiving. You should have forgiven me. When you found out, you shouldn't have reacted that way. You should have been like, oh, girl, I understand. Thank you for having my back. But because Bianca didn't react that way, which I think it goes back to what Anthony said, it's not a point that she's not upset over what Naomi did. I don't think she is. I think what she's upset about is, this is my time. I want elimination chambers. We should not be talking about this. We should be focusing on
she's trying to divert it away, for sure.
Yes, and I think that is where
It's very interesting that, like, when you're talking about that betrayal, like, Naomi's not going after right now. She's not going after Jade. She's not going after Bianca. So, like, how am I supposed to believe that you're mad at Bianca when and Bianca's mad at you when neither one of you are taking a swing at one another? Which leads me to think there's a bigger picture here, and this is all a plot to get Bianca her women's title.
Hey, man.
It might well enough be, with Jade coming back at Elimination Chambers and attacking Naomi, I guess they would feel like the gig is up. Okay. Mm-hmm. The gig is up. She didn't attack you, let's just play it off and we'll just be separated, girl, because I'm on SmackDown, but they just keeping me on Raw all of a sudden, so I'll just stay on Raw and take care of business over here. You just keep running circles around Jade until I can come back over there to help you.
You got this. Very much. You got this. Did you see what happened to me in the chamber? You got it, girl. You're fine.
Yeah, hey, we're here for it, man. I'm definitely excited to see how we progress the story and just see Naomi keep, doing the great work that she's doing. So kudos to her. Salute to her.
Yes.
Oh, man. The next topic that we have at hand is something that was pretty newsworthy this week. It was announced via her Instagram as well that Gail Kim will be departing TNA Wrestling. If y'all don't know Gail Kim, she is a absolute legend in the Knockouts division, but also, more importantly, as of late, a pivotal person in the backstage for the Knockouts, primarily in TNA. And man, this is crazy. Obviously, Anthony, you the biggest TNA fan that I know. It's you and Drizzy. I want to know your thoughts, out the gate about the news. What did you think about it? And then, kind of just bring points to that.
This is really kind of shocking. The biggest shock, I think, to the company, which was maybe about a year ago at this point, I don't even remember, but with Scott D'Amore getting fired after the rebrand, like, that was shocking. This is equal to that because Gail Kim's kind of been in the fabric of TNA for a large portion of its existence. She was in WWE. Her first match, she won the women's title there, and that was kind of it. Like, it didn't really pan out. She had a sour taste in her mouth. She went to TNA, and her and Awesome Kong essentially built that Knockouts division. When people talk about, the women's revolution in WWE, a large portion of that is because of the groundwork that the Knockouts laid, and along with Trish and Lita and that era. But that was a huge part of it. And Gail Kim has been that backstage person. I believe she was in charge of talent relations, or she was a part of it, I believe, at Tommy Dreamer, if I'm not mistaken. So her departure was not mutual. It was not her decision. And, I don't think Gail's in the wrestling business for the money. I mean, granted, she wants to get paid, but I believe her husband is a big chef, if I'm not mistaken. Or am I wrong there, Shad? Isn't he, like, he's quote unquote loaded, essentially? Not to say Gail has less money, but I
believe so.
Yeah. Also, she's a diehard Eagles fan because of her husband. So we got to support that, right, Chad? But I think Gail, if she wants to continue in the industry, I definitely think that it's going to be, she could do something with WWE, although she's been a diehard TNA through and through. I think the most likely is that if Scott D'Amore's Maple Leaf gets off the ground, more than just like the one show, every so often, I could see her helping out with him, because again, it's not a money driven thing. So I think it's where she's happy and where she'd have passion if she wants to continue in the industry. She's a Hall of Famer without question. So it's a major loss to the company. I know there's some people speculating, does the WWE partnership have something to do with this? I find that very hard to believe. I don't think WWE would go, you need to let her go. We don't want to deal with her. I just don't think there's that type of bad blood, because I think she's been in the crowd during some of the NXT stuff with the knockouts. I would find that hard to believe. The Vince era, yeah, like maybe, but then again, the Vince era wouldn't have done the partnership. so that's why I don't think it's the case.
And to that point too, like, because the partnership is primarily with NXT, and I feel like Gail Kim is a person that you would even want in the NXT women, especially how deep the roster is. Like, that's a person that you would want to rub shoulders with your young ladies on a roster. It's shocking to me because it seems like there's a tide changing with TNA. They just announced that they have a new head creative too, right?
Delirious from Ring of Honor, yes.
Yeah, so it seems like they're going in a whole different direction. I don't know what he's gonna bring to the table. I don't know if things change up a lot. Gail Kim's departure, I will say, from seeing a lot of people's Twitter feeds, it didn't make people happy. It made people upset.
I can't imagine it would.
Yeah. Like, I mean, I saw Tasha Steelz was upset about it. Steph DeLander was upset about it. I
mean, the last of the old guard is Tommy Dreamer, I think, at this point. So I think he's the last of the Mohicans as far as people from, TNA's past that is running things backstage. So, I don't know what this means for TNA, but there has never been a company, regardless of who owned it, in the 23 years of its existence, that has had more pronouncements that they're dead or they're dying, and they have not. It truly is, the Moneyball promotion that constantly reinvents itself. I mean, there's never been a company like this. Think about the stuff that they've done. This was years ago, but do you remember there was one point where there was speculation that the company was going to be sold to WWE or to somebody because they were out of money and they had a pay-per-view that weekend? And that's ultimately when Anthem stepped in and bought it. But this company has been pronounced dead more times than you can count.
Yeah, and then I think the partnership with WWE now has been beneficial to them as well.
I think the partnership in a lot of ways, and I said this before anything was officially signed. I know I said this probably privately, maybe I said this on air too. I view the partnership in a lot of ways where this is this era's version of the WWE partnership with ECW, where that young talent, there's a tunnel to get to WWE, there's a pathway, and there's also a pathway for WWE talent that maybe is not cutting it these days to go down there, reinvent themselves, do different things. Would WWE turn around and buy TNA and make it its second developmental, almost a SmackDown to NXT's Raw? I could totally see that. I could see that being a possibility if that happens. This is another thing that I think, and I don't know this, so nobody could say I don't know this for a fact, but it would not shock me, considering when WWE had the partnership with Evolve, that there was a rumor that there was a clause in that contract that if WWN ever decided to sell Evolve, WWE had right of first refusal. I would not be shocked if something like that is in the contract with a partnership with TNA. That if you consider selling, we have right of first refusal, because just the tape library alone, WWE would want.
That is a rich history to it, yeah. That's interesting to say. Megan, I gotta ask you, obviously, in regards to the news of Gail departed from TNA. What are your thoughts on it? Like, how did you feel about her leaving? And if she does want to continue and pursue a career in pro wrestling, where would you like to see her go?
Honestly, I just want her to be happy wherever it is that she chooses to go next. I think she made when I read her Instagram posts, It just came up as someone who understands the level and the weight of the things that she has contributed into that company. So when she leaves with her head held high, because she knows that the women's division, where it's at, had a lot to do with things that she had chose to do during her 17-year career. The most important part of the quote or her Instagram caption was, "Need more women in leadership roles in the wrestling industry." And it's true. We do. Because even once upon a time, Stephanie McMahon, the daughter of Linda and Vince McMahon, the wife of Paul Levesque, at some point, even she didn't feel comfortable being in her own family company, a company that her grandfather had started. And she had to, I don't want to say she had to like humbly come back to her own family company. And that tells you a lot. And I don't think it had anything much to do with it may have played a role in what her father has done, because what he has done was terrible. But I think it also played a role in who she is, who she came into the business as, the boss's daughter, and now she's coming back as the boss's wife. And it's never just Stephanie McMahon. It's always a weight attached to her name. So, I hope that by what Gail Kim said about there needing to be more women in these type of positions, I hope that they use her as the catalyst of making that happen. Just don't pat her on the back and say, "Yeah, you've done a great job in almost 2 decades. And, we'll love to have you here. We'll give you a position." Give her a position, but also make it possible for other women to hold high-end positions as well.
Mm-hmm.
Read
100% on that.
And that's my thoughts on it. So I'm not worried about Miss Gail Kim. Her resume speaks for itself. She will bounce back. She will be in a position that is greater than the one that she left. So I'm not in a bit worried. I'm worried for TNA, because I don't know if TNA realizes what they've done. They messed up.
It's one of those. It is one of those situations where we are going from losing to Scott D'Amore to now losing Gail Kim. Like Anthony mentioned, like the identity is going through an overhaul. And it, like, I always correlate things to sports. This is like a rebuild, right? A new coach, you're going to need a new vision. Potentially, you're going to need some new players, right? So, wrestlers that are on, say that maybe are from the position that were, very tied to Scott, very tied to Gail, they might leave, and you might see some new faces come in, new signings step in. They try to create a new vision amongst what this is going to be. Whether it's going to be good or bad, we'll have to wait and see. You have to give everything, obviously, its time and day to kind of go through the ebbs and flows of it. But I do want to say this. Gail Kim is someone that could be a, positive reinforcement to any wrestling company. And then what you just said, as a primary factor to a wrestling company, as a person that could be a head booker, like that type of situation, she's really like led a women's division that was probably the best women's division up until like what we see now in NXT. But everybody was talking about the Knockouts division, like the stars that they created from people that were reclamation projects, like a Deonna Purrazzo, who was kind of a failed NXT star to becoming one of the most renowned wrestlers at the time when she was there.
Yeah, Chelsea Green, that got her big break.
Coming back over there, really reminding people. We just talked about Trinity going there, reminding people. Mia Yim, another person returning back over there. Like there's just so many people that go in there.
And they know this is why they trust in the NXT stars to be there. Cora Jade,
Jordan Grace.
You know, like they know what that division, the weight of that division. They know the importance of it. Now, I just want to make a quick point. I think, and this might not have nothing to do with Gail, but I do think that there is a change happening over there.
Yep.
And the fact that they were so open to letting Tessa Blanchard come back and then kind of just sweep the things that she have said under the rug. And then to this day, she's still doing very questionable things.
Yeah.
And they're not acknowledging it, but allowing it to happen. Yeah, it does speak on the change that is happening over there. Is it a good change? Like you said, we don't know. It's still in the beginning. But, you know, I hope that they take into consideration what she has done, because she's getting a little too close to the NXT girlies, and I don't like it.
I do find it interesting. I think she said that she was in contact with Scott D'Amore about coming in before she did. So I do find it interesting that if that's true, then this isn't necessarily just the new regime's idea to bring her in, that apparently Scott was considering it.
But even if he had considered it, we still don't know how he would have handled it.
No, I know.
Because
you know what I mean. Yeah.
Yeah, like, you know, listen, there's a lot of people that have done very questionable things in their life. And, you know, it really all depends on what it is that they're being accused of. Because I think the worst of the crime, yes, you should keep those people far away.
Yeah.
But I do understand that some people do some fucked up things. And they do deserve a second chance. And despite the things that she have done, has she had just been woman enough to admit what she has done, apologize to the woman she had done it to, yeah, you still want to have people that will feel a way about it, but at least they can say, but she apologized. Now, whether or not they thought the apology was authentic, that's really up to them. It's not up to you anymore because you didn't make your apology. But she's not doing that. And even if it's not, just be, you know, if she was interviewed by somebody and she came out and she spoke about it, whether it's Chris, whether it's Ariel, Denise, maybe, you know, being a Hispanic woman, maybe we can understand why she's been quiet about it this whole time.
Tessa, she is the Rachel Dolezal of the Hispanic community, right?
You know, I mean,
I had to let that one fly, bro.
You know, because one of them is okay. One of them actually is.
That's the thing with Tessa, and I've said this to people. I'm like, Tessa's problem in wrestling was never in the ring.
Yeah,
when the bell rings, she's one of the best to do it. So to me, I think she was the best talent in ring that wasn't signed anywhere from that roster part. But like her father, who was also very controversial backstage, so it is a family trait. You know, it is questionable from a PR standpoint, from bringing her in. A morale standpoint, it's questionable,
right?
Obviously, I don't know what's going on backstage. There's been different rumors that, like, when she came in, she went, anybody's got a problem with me, have a conversation with me, which I don't know if anybody's taking her up on that. I don't know what's going on backstage.
Shit. Look, I'm old school.
I'm just saying, like,
I'm old school. I'd be like, look, I don't want to talk.
No.
Can we just get in the ring real quick? You know, let's just get that real quick.
The funny part to me is, apparently she's very close with Moose, which is just kind of like wild to me that, like, she's being accused of being racist, Yeah, she's buddies with Moose. It's just like it's such a bizarre scenario.
Anthony,
but it's Moose.
Anthony. That's what I was about to say, Anthony. Trust me. Yeah. You can have a woman that do not like or respect Black women and date Black men. We see it all the time. You know, so by her having Moose is probably more of an ally than anything.
Yeah. I think Moose is the reason she's in there.
Moose is also someone who's not like, he's had his own problems of like sayings and stuff like that.
I thought allegedly. I thought he had a
domestic, right? Allegedly.
Yeah, he can't keep his hands to himself, right? Is that what his issue is? Because I wouldn't want to be no friend with someone like that.
Nah, he got those allegations. And he's also got a weird personality too. I ain't gonna lie, like he kind of got a weird personality outside of wrestling. Is it
giving Malik Yoba? Is it giving I'm a non-white man? I don't know.
Like, you know, he kind of got like like Terry Crews.
Sorry, I'm sorry. It's just Malik Yoba said it recently. He said he's not addressing himself as a Black man no more. He's identifying as a non-white man. And I said,
I didn't even know that.
What does that mean?
Where is that checkbox on the form?
So that's why I'm just curious, but go ahead.
No,
I won't say nothing else.
He's definitely like, he's went to bat for her a lot. So and he doesn't like, I don't know. Moose is like to go to bat for someone is to go to bat for someone. But like you said, at the end of the day, like Moose aside, like I don't care what he has to say in that situation. It's what she's got to say in the situation. Yeah. And she's got to take accountability. And you look at it like this. We talked about CM Punk on the daily yesterday, which is today technically. But Punk came back in the spoiler alert. But Punk came back to WWE knowing that this is probably his last chance at anything big time in professional wrestling.
This was the redemption.
So he went in there with his head down, you know, being like, you know what, I gotta do this or it's not gonna happen, right? And I have to own what happened in the past and, you know, make amends and have uncomfortable conversations with people. That's the biggest thing. And I know that is an uncomfortable conversation that she's going to have. But at the end of the day, in reality, when you go into a locker room and these women are your sisters at the end of the day, like it's different. It's different than a job, right? Wrestling and sports, you got to have some sort of camaraderie in a sense, or some sort of like common ground where you can have respect to make it work because your bodies are on the line. If I don't trust you, why am I going to want to work with you? You might fuck around and injure me.
That's the difference between Punk and Tessa. Punk had enough recognition to going, listen, it works both ways. I am just as responsible for the way that things fell apart and my perception that people have of me. Because he admits that he's always had that perception, misunderstood, whatever you want to call it. He's very adamant in his beliefs, and it rubs some people the wrong way. But he went into the WWE return run trying to mitigate that.
Right.
Tess went into back to TNA in the sense of not so much redemption, so much of going.
Well,
they wised up and they brought
she
back.
Still thinks that she's the top.
She did nothing
woman
wrong.
In like the company again. Like she thinks she's still the same woman that won the world championship. Like this is a different person now. Like,
listen, here's the thing: if you're being accused of something you didn't do, and I'm not saying that's the situation she's in, I understand why you would want to deny it. I get that, but you also have to understand that there's a perception of the audience that believes it.
Yeah. And
that is the audience that will be spending their money to see. So in the same way, somebody that, gets accused of a crime that they didn't do and they take a plea deal to just move on with their lives in the best way they can, bite the bullet and show amends because people love redemption stories.
It's occasional, like it's not even like the thing is this. She's like it's one of those situations where there's room to make amends if you own up to it and you try to become a better person in the situation. I think the people that the problem that most people have is the fact that, like you mentioned, she's not even willing to budge on it, where she's batting an eye and being like, I didn't do nothing. I don't know why I'm being blackballed from professional wrestling. You know?
Which is the point that I want to make real quick, because I know we have to get into AEW's moose in a second.
Oh man.
But as a woman, there's a lot of things that you could be accused of, especially when it comes down to a business that's male dominated and you have to act a certain way. You might be called a bitch. You might be called aggressive. You might be seen as a mean girl. You might be seen as one of the boys. All these things that comes into the role of not having to appear dainty or overtly feminine when it comes down to a position like that. And some of those things, you might just bat an eye and just say, look, people gonna feel how they feel about me. I don't care. But you're being accused of being racist.
Yes.
And if you didn't do it, you would still try to convince people, not even so much convince people, but you will make it clear that that's not you. By you pretending that you don't hear these things when you got thousands of people in an arena chanting it, and you still don't feel the need to say, hey, listen, I know what I've been accused of. But I'm telling you right now, that's not me. Then, we could side with her, even if she's innocent of it. But I'm going to tell you something. You have someone very likable, someone that's highly respected, who has come out multiple times to say, you're a mean girl, you're a bully, you're not a good person. And that's Chelsea Green. And until you can somehow come off, until you can fix your reputation to match up with hers, we're going to believe whatever.
The thing is this, though, it's not only just her, too.
Yes.
Multiple women like Allison Kay, few other ones in the industry.
That's the thing. It is not this narrative, because this was one of the narratives I believe she told, unless I'm misremembering this. When this first broke, she was like, people are jealous of me. I'm like, Chelsea's not even in the same company as you. And remember, Women's Wrestling, they brought her in. They're like, we're gonna capitalize on this. They released a t-shirt that literally said nuclear heat on it.
Yeah.
Smart move. That really worked out. And then that didn't pan out either. So, like, listen, this isn't just a reputation. This is a pattern at this point that people believe this. Listen, in the ring, I enjoy watching her. I think she's one of the best heels. If you're going to play this, she could never be a babyface. So she's getting this heel heat, which if you can make money off of this, okay, I get it. But you need to have people in that locker room that are willing to work with you. So you need to make peace with these people. If not, you got bigger problems, because, okay, you won't get rid of her. Well, then I'm going out the door. You're going to lose a roster of people that are already pissed that Gail Kim's not there. They're already pissed Scott D'Amore got let go, and they're seeing the writing on the wall. So, that's what you got to do.
It's true.
Yeah.
Tessa couldn't be a face anyway. Do you see that profile? She got the face of a villain.
I do. I would love to see her against Charlotte, just to force women daughters to feud, but that's a side thing. That's just a personal. I like to see them wrestle.
Oh man. All right. We are running a little short on time, so we are going to weave through this last topic. And this is a spotlight topic that I selected. And it's something that I feel, I feel very weird about this topic, because I am a battle rapper and I'm a big hip hop fan. I've done music for the longest time. and I have a very, very strong opinion towards Vlad TV. I think he is one of the cancers to the media space for hip hop. I think he's coming from a place that is to just completely harm these people for clickbait, asking questions that put a lot of rappers in very tough situations and criminal situations and whatnot. And that's just his interview style. He doesn't care about the people that who they are deep within. He cares about the drama within, the clickbait type of stuff. And Swerve Strickland, man, a guy who I'm a huge fan of, AEW, former world champion, had an opportunity to have an interview with Vlad TV. Now, on one side, I understand why you would do it because this is a big media platform. As a star, as a person that may even want to, who does music, you look at it as like, yo, this is a way for me to get on a platform that a lot of eyes can see and get a lot of eyes on the product. But the perception of Vlad. You know that you come from the side of being a black man, but also being a rapper and seeing this guy doing what he does as a leech, and you go there, and then you also fall for the trick. He asks you why you left WWE, and you get in a situation where you tell the story, and perception is what it is, man. The story told, whether it may be true, whether it may be fabricated, it made a couple of your old colleagues look bad in the situation. And I'm a person of this, man. I think in-house stuff needs to stay in-house. I think relationships that you had, whether you are a friend or a foe, needs to stay on that. You don't need to publicly put stuff on that. Vlad don't really even know the other members of Hit Row. But in that same breath, it made a man like AJ Francis look really, bad in the situation. And salute to AJ going out and getting an interview with the homie. I think his name is Adrian Hernandez or whatever his name is. Sorry if I messed up his name, but kind of, defending himself on the topic. It was interesting to see. And, perception is perception, man. How you view stuff is how you view stuff. And I like Swerve a lot. I rock with him, but he is also another guy that, to a lot of people in the media space, you also talk about the PWI list, and you talk about how you and Cody would kikiing about who should have been 1 and 2. But then you also say that you don't like a list like the BWI with Righteous Reg making and seeing, independent black wrestlers be on it above marquee names on the WWE and the AEW, and you say lists are kind of whack. On that standpoint, you don't make yourself look too good in that way, Swerve. And I mean, Meg, I know you ready. You licking your chops on this topic right here, because I mean, what are your thoughts on it? Like, how I feel like you feel about Vlad the same way I do, huh?
There's only one other platform he could have went on that would have been an even worse choice than DJ Vlad, and that is No Jumper.
Mm-hmm.
Sitting right next to Adam 22 or Adam 16, if you know, you know. But Swerve is always going to find an opportunity to, big himself up by putting other people down. And, he spends a whole lot of time talking down WWE by bigging up AEW. Like a couple of weeks ago, he came out and he pretty much felt like people like CM Punk, people like Cody, their time at AEW kind of played a role in their position in WWE now, despite the fact they were WWE first before coming to AEW. Despite the fact that you can say what you want about Cody, he is still a Nepo baby, okay? Even if you don't know him, you know who his daddy is, and you know who his brother is. So put some respect on that man's name. But when it comes down to Swerve, there's a saying, and I probably can't think of it right now. It was a saying that my grandmother used to say, God bless the dead. But there's, when a man has to constantly hold his own self up by his balls to kind of prove something, he's lacking in other places, And we've seen what you've done in AEW. We've seen what you've done. You ain't got to constantly remind us. But when it comes down to the, Cody texted me and he said, yeah, you should have been number one, broski. And yeah, I really want to beat you. Cody was being polite. You really think Cody feels that you should have been number one over him? Are you crazy? He was being polite.
Cody sold out buildings all over the world. He's not going to say that you're number one.
His sister was online last year when he didn't make number one. I don't even think he was in the top 10, but he wasn't even the top 3. Top 3 of 2023 was Randy. No, excuse me. I'm sorry. It was Roman, Seth, and John. And, made a big thing because of the Shield. So you really think that? Anyway, we ain't got a lot of time, but
it comes to a point though. Like, I don't disagree. I don't think you need, like, it comes off as like over compensating yourself in a way, right? Like, Swerve doesn't need to flash his accolades. We know his accolades, and we like Swerve for what he does. I think we're all on record of loving the work that we want him to beat Moxley so we can get out of Death Rider's purgatory in a couple of weeks, right? Like,
that's more selfishly we want it to end just because we don't want the Death Riders to still be a thing.
No, because I'm definitely on Hangman's side. Like, no, you're not getting that title ever again. I'm right on Hangman's side when it comes down to that. But I get what you're saying, and I do agree.
Character standpoint, though, yeah.
I do agree. But, it's just, I just did not like how he keeps throwing digs at AJ. AJ has moved on from what happened in WWE. He has made a name for himself in TNA. He is a big deal in TNA. And for some reason, I feel like you feel that you have to constantly remind him that he's not in the position that you are in. And that's nasty work. I don't like it.
Here's the part that cracks me up with this. You're emphasizing that you're happy in AEW, that you're happier than you wouldn't go back to WWE. Then why are you throwing AJ Francis under the bus and being mad about it that he cost you your WWE run because he caused problems? So, like, what's the point? You should be happy that him screwing up got you where you wanted to be. Or are you telling the audience you really don't want to be there? Because that's what it sounds like.
It's just like AJ said, if I was so bad, they wouldn't have hired me again. They hired me back, and he can't say much about B-Fab or Adonis because they are currently in WWE.
They're still there.
They're still number one. They're still in the number one company. But you're going to continue on bashing AJ. And I'm glad that he came out and finally spoke his piece on it because, this is the prime example of what do you do when you poke at a bear that's not bothering you. Like, like even a few months ago when WWE and AEW was both in the same town in Florida, I can't remember what town it was. And AJ, he kind of like, which show should I go to, WWE or AEW? I have friends in both companies, and he decided to go to AEW. And, I think he had mentioned that he had saw Swerve, and there was no smoke. There was no fire there. But then you're going to still talk about him months later. And this is what caught him off guard because it's like, I thought we were cool.
No, they were on the show last week for Chris Bay's thing together.
Yeah, and it's like I thought we were good.
Here's the thing.
He recorded that Vlad interview before that, and he shook his hand, knowing that he talked greasy about him.
But you know what? This could easily be if it's not a storyline that somewhere they're going to wrestle.
It's not at all.
They could turn it into a storyline. We've seen that happen before. Real life stuff. Edge shacked up with Lita when she was with Matt. That turned into a 3-month storyline. So
but you remember Matt put a couple of lumps on Edge's head for that too. You know, I mean, look, but when it comes down to these two, are you gonna let them fight it out first? Because, like I say, this isn't about me sleeping with your girl. This is about you trying to mess with my money. Like, I could possibly go back to WWE. You know, I'm under this company that has currently a partnership with them. And you're messing with my money, even though you're supposed to be one of the highest paid people at AEW, which we both know.
What do you care? Exactly.
Out of your purse and Mercedes' purse, her purse is always going to be heavier.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
So there's that.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm still on the boat that I like Swerve a lot. Swerve is honestly one of my favorite wrestlers in pro wrestling. And I love everything that he does in AEW. And I love AEW. That's still my shit at the end of the day. But like when we're talking about in a conversation aspect of like between him and AJ, I do think that he comes off kind of like lame in that standpoint where it's like you didn't need to like put into the way you describe it, and you didn't even put his name on it. You're like the big guy, right? We know who the big guy is.
You can't even mention his name.
Yeah, like that type of stuff does kind of come a little petty, right? And it's one of those situations where it wasn't needed. And AJ, rightfully so, man. I'm glad he got an opportunity to kind of tell his side of the story too. I don't know if a B-Fab or Ashanti will, or if they need to. I like you said,
WWE probably wouldn't want them getting involved.
They don't need to. They're doing great stuff. All four of them. Here's the thing: all four of them are doing great stuff right now.
Mm-hmm.
Swerve is literally at the top of his game in AEW. AJ Francis is one of the hardest working guys in the independent scene and in TNA at the moment. B-Fab is finally getting an opportunity to show why she is a star on SmackDown Weekly. Had a match with Charlotte, now having a match with Naomi next week, like they're weekly. And Ashanti, he's he found love. He found love on NXT with Carmen, right?
Carmen going slice and dice him. Okay, she tired of him, But it's true,
But he's also being used weekly on TV compared to like them two weren't used at all a while ago. So now they're being used. So be happy and let them keep progressing. Them two are also relatively new in the pro wrestling as well. So they're learning and growing into it. So it is what it is, man. That is all the time we do have for today's episode. We went OT with the topics, but it was a hell of a great show. And I'm glad that we got to give these topics its rightful time. Anthony, appreciate you, man. Always welcome to come by whenever. Megan, always a pleasure to have you as well. And we'll be back same time next week, man. If y'all haven't like, comment, subscribe to the page, please do so. We really appreciate it. And in the words of Jay Uso, deuces, ooses, we out here.